don't ever tell anyone when they're going to die because they'll live long enough to come piss on your grave. And those were the wisest words I have ever heard. And I don't say it like that in the exam room. What I say is, I am not in the business of predicting the future. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But here are the things that worry me if you have belly pain. And if your kid happens to have those, call me or come back to the office. But I can't predict what the future holds.
You know what I couldn't have predicted? That a significant portion of this interview with an otolaryngologist would be talking about belly pain. I
Yeah.
could not have predicted that.
Let's move on. It's
Sure.
about testing, strep tests. Strep tests are a $5 test, not a big deal. CAT scans are really expensive, and the
You're
rapid
radiating a
viral
kid.
panel is really expensive. And we worry about a little strep test that gives a mother a good feeling that she doesn't have strep. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong anymore. I try to make people better. Let's move on.
It's medicine.
Yeah.
Nothing's right, nothing's
And
wrong.
well,
Every
you do know
individual
what's
has a
right and
different
you do know what's
expectation.
wrong. And if you struggle with that, you know you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
see everything crystal clear,
Yeah.
I guess is you're
You
having.
know, I had a case yesterday. The cousin went to somewhere, probably an emergency, because they got the full rapid viral panel that was positive for rhinovirus. Emergently, the other three kids that live in the house have to go to the doctor because they were exposed to rhinovirus. They had a little runny nose. What do you do with that? You got a
Collect
little
the copay,
virus.
collect the copay, put holy water on their
You got a
forehead and move
virus.
on.
You got a virus. I didn't do the rapid viral panel.
I
Okay.
can't. The world isn't perfect.
Yeah.
So now that, Dr. Block, now that we have these tremendous vaccinations, what does but before that, one thing that really bothers me is that you can have your tonsils completely removed and then you can still test positive for strep.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what to do with that. I treat them because what else am I going to do? But what does an PTNTs do today when so many of the ear infections are gone, the recurrent sinus infections are gone since we started vaccinating with a pneumococcal vaccine? And I would venture to say some more of these ear infections and chronic respiratory problems will be lessened by the monoclonal antibody for RSV. So what is it? What do you do now in pediatric ENT?
First, I just want to make it clear I'm not a fellowship trained pediatric ENT. I'm a general ENT, and a lot of my practice, actually the bulk of my surgical practice, is peds. But the volume of because kids tend to have surgical problems, adults tend to have non-surgical problems. But I do see a lot of adults as well. I think the vaccines are working better in Virginia than they are on Long Island, from what you're describing, because we see
Okay.
lots of sinusitis, we see lots of otitis media, we see lots of enlarged tonsils and adenoids. We're seeing kids getting viral upper respiratory tract infections that lead to adenotonsillar hypertrophy. Actually, it's hyperplasia technically, but we call it hypertrophy. We're still seeing all of these things. I do tons of ear tubes. I do tons of adenotonsillectomies. I do sinus surgery on mainly adults because these things are still a problem and a common problem. Less frequently in the summer months, certainly, but school started again. Going to be seeing tons of them. You know, my schedule is going to be filled with ear tubes, tonsils, and adenoids again very soon.
So from your perspective, you haven't seen less consults for tubes than you did maybe 10 years ago?
No,
Wow.
no, I haven't seen a significant change. Also, 10 years ago, I've been in practice 13 years. So 10 years ago, I wasn't as busy as I am now. So now I've gotten a reputation. And so a lot of people are getting referred to me. So I'm seeing a lot more. Maybe other people are seeing fewer. I don't know. Maybe it's just.
But on Long Island,
the
it's
referrals
become
work.
extremely difficult to get an ENT appointment with somebody that sees children. There's less and
Really?
less of you guys. Yes.
There's a
Maybe
quirk to
that's what it
that.
is.
Yeah.
There's a quirk to that. There was a particular brand of managed Medicaid that I take, and nobody east of me on Long Island takes. And George, you were east of me. And when Stony Brook University lost their pediatric otolaryngologist, I don't know if they've hired a new one yet. Basically, everyone who has that particular brand of, there are people who see adults that take that type of Medicaid, managed Medicaid, but I am the only one. There are some people west of me, but I'm the one furthest east. And I'm in Nassau County, which means Suffolk, all of Suffolk. I was seeing patients from like Quorum and Riverhead
So,
that would
so,
drive to me because I was the only one that took this particular
so
brand.